word of thanks, and I don't know that thanks even quite does it justice, to our amazing host and hostess, Mark and Tammy. This is just the most amazing venue, and thank you. And I think it's a good testament to how well the campaign has matured, really, over the past 3 years. I didn't know that I was going to be running for Congress necessarily even as far back as 2006, and then when we decided to throw our hat in the ring in 2007 and gradually began to grow the network of supporters for the 2008 campaign, it became pretty clear that the folks who were behind our campaign were just a different sort of person. And I really thought that that was, you know, it doesn't have anything to do with me, but it really had everything to do with the message and the shared concern that so many Americans have nowadays that our country is just moving in the wrong direction. And there might be a better way to go if we were to potentially think about what it was and what it is that potentially makes America and should make America literally the beacon of the world and the light for liberty and the opportunity that we have and enjoy and want to leave for our children. So first, I need to thank everyone who's here, because you guys are part of a network of patriots who I know share in your heart the desire that I have that our families, our children, our grandchildren can inherit a country that we will be proud to live to live here. And I'm just going to say a very few words before I introduce our keynote speaker this evening. And I am so grateful and so thankful to have Congressman Walter Jones here from our 3rd District. What got me into politics was really a desire to defend my family and my children. It literally was out of self-defense. And my background is in engineering and medicine, as y'all know, and I'm kind of a numbers guy. And when I started to change my career path, leaving surgical residency to start a hospital software company in 2001, I was engaged in an entirely new system that I'd never seen before. This idea of raising money to start a company and how does our financial system work. And as I started to go out into that financial world and interact with investors and ask questions, I began to realize I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I'd spent my entire life studying engineering, biomedical, electrical engineering, going into medical school and you know, anatomy, physiology, all that good stuff. But my entire life was based around studying and understanding systems. How do systems work? And I got to tell you, when I first started to try to figure out how our economic system worked, and as I started to ask basic questions about, gosh, why do we have inflation? Where does inflation come from? What is money anyway? You start asking these basic questions and peeling back the layers of the onion, and then you understand the relationship between our economy and our government. It became pretty clear to me, even back in 2001, 2002, that our country is not on a sustainable or a desirable path. So I tell folks today when I'm running, I just have to be honest, a lot of the concerns I had that were getting me into the congressional campaign in 2008, at the time they were theoretical concerns. These are things that might happen sometime in the future. But now, and the reason that we're so excited about the campaign in 2010 and the opportunity to win and to send David Price home to a well-deserved and well-funded retirement. Here, here. is because we've gotten to the point where the economic concerns are not theoretical. They're right here. They're right now. They're happening. They've happened. And when I talk to folks about the reality that we live in a world and we live in a country that has lost its mooring, it's lost its moral anchor, and we've got different classes of people, some who follow the rules, some who don't. I had to meet with our accountant today to do our taxes, and I told him, I was very honest, I said, look man, if I wasn't running for Congress, I don't know if I'd be here today. And he said, you know, I've been hearing that a lot lately. And I think that's kind of a testament to where we are. When you've got folks in government who clearly act as if the rules don't apply to them, and the rules don't apply to them.
That's right.
And when we've been on this journey of rewarding failure and piling debt onto the backs of the American taxpayer to subsidize the too big to fail, that's not healthy, and that's really hurting us. And then it gets back to the basic realities of telling people that, you know, when you try to start and grow a business and do good things within your community and do well by doing good, capitalism works. It's a virtuous thing because it's doing well by doing good. It's making money because your customers want to give you money in exchange for your goods and services. that's the system that we've lost. And now we've replaced our capitalism, which is virtuous, with this corporatism, where the folks who have the most to gain from gaining access to the levers of power, they're the ones who are driving the bus in Washington. So, in segueing into my introduction to Congressman Jones, I really only care that maybe 5 or 6 Congress folks get reelected this November. And I'm not going to name names, but Congressman Jones is absolutely on the top of the list. And I first got to know him during the 2008 campaign. And the thing I thought that was most remarkable about Congressman Jones is that he comes from one of the most military districts in the country. Yet, he does not let blind allegiance to party rhetoric, partisan rhetoric, color his objective evaluation of facts. And I talk to folks all the time who give me an earful about our American foreign policy and what we need to be telling our troops to do in different areas around the world. And I have to ask them, where are you getting your information? Because I have a good friend and someone who I believe to be honest and principled and concerned who's been on the House Armed Services Committee for 15 years. And he's not just listening to talking points from the mainstream media, and he has access to information that you and I don't have access to. And you know what? This is not someone who runs from a fight. This is someone who actually gained national attention in 2003 by saying, hey, why don't we tell our friends in France who won't support our Iraqi invasion, we're going to call our French fries freedom fries in the House cafeteria. This is not someone who runs from a fight, but when he looks at the facts and when he looks at the evolution of knowledge that comes from being exposed to real data, and then in 2005 has the courage to say, you know what, that was a mistake. We did the wrong thing. We need to change what we're doing. That is something I can respect. Because we have so many people in Washington who refuse to think for themselves. And what we need are people who use critical thinking, who don't take what they're told at face value, and honestly stand for the fundamental principles that make our country great. Which starts with, as I believe and all you believe, our founding documents. It's the philosophy of government articulated in our Declaration of Independence and codified in a contract between our federal government, the states, and the people in our United States Constitution. So with that, I'd like to introduce Congressman Jones.